Man,
Hey!
stop! Put it down!
Hold her arm!
Oh my God.
Please!
Please, easy,
Give
easy.
me the bottle! She deserves it!
Don't hurt me, please.
Got it!
She didn't scream right away. The pain came first, hot, blinding, unreal. The cafe fell silent as the liquid sizzled against the floor, inches from her face. Customers froze, phones raised, disbelief written in every stare. And there she stood, a waitress trembling, her kindness repaid with hatred. Outside, a black car screeched to a halt, its door swinging open as a man in a tailored suit stepped out. The air shifted. Justice had arrived, and it wasn't here to whisper. This is the story of the woman who poured acid, and the boss who made her regret it. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Hit the like button, and drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. The cafe smelled of roasted beans and early ambition, a small corner spot tucked between glass offices and hurried lives. Every morning, Naomi arrived before the sun did. She tied her hair back, straightened her apron, and greeted the day with the kind of smile that made regulars linger a moment longer before rushing to their desks. For her, it wasn't just work. It was dignity in motion, a quiet act of grace in a world that too often looked past her. She had learned to read people's eyes. Some offered warmth, others cold calculation, but the hardest ones were the polite smiles that pretended not to see her. Naomi didn't complain. She knew that survival for women like her often meant swallowing pride and turning pain into professionalism. Her laughter was soft, her service impeccable. She'd learned to carry her worth in silence. Every so often, her reflection in the glass reminded her who she was beneath the uniform. A woman who had dreams beyond the cafe counter, one who had studied art history before life's unfair turns led her here. She still sketched on napkins during breaks, tracing stories of people who dared to be seen. The cafe had its regulars, the kind who believed kindness was a choice, and those who thought superiority was a birthright. Among them was her, a woman draped in diamonds, always impatient, always watching Naomi with an expression that teetered between disgust and envy. Naomi had served her countless times, always polite, always steady. But there was something different in the woman's eyes lately, a sharpness, a quiet fury, as if Naomi's mere existence offended her. Outside, a black car often passed by, tinted windows concealing the powerful man who owned the cafe chain. Naomi never thought much of it, not yet, but fate was already circling quietly, waiting for its cruel turn. The morning rush had just begun when Naomi noticed the woman again, the one with the diamond watch and the eyes that cut sharper than the cup's edge. Her name was Mrs. Langford, a woman who believed wealth could polish cruelty into charm. She sat at her usual corner table, designer purse beside her, tapping her manicured nails against the marble as Naomi approached with her usual warm greeting. Naomi placed the coffee gently on the table, her hand steady though she could feel the tension rising in the air like static before a storm. "Too hot!" Mrs. Langford snapped, even before taking a sip. "Do you people ever get anything right?" The words weren't new. Naomi had learned to absorb insults like a sponge, without letting them stain her soul. Still, there was something different that day. The way Mrs. Langford's voice carried, louder than necessary, made heads turn. She wanted an audience. Naomi apologized softly and returned to the counter, her co-workers exchanging uneasy glances. They had seen this play out before, entitlement masquerading as frustration. But none of them spoke up, not in this cafe, not in this city, where silence was the price of keeping your job. Over the next few days, Mrs. Langford's visits grew more frequent, her complaints sharper, her insults more direct. She mocked Naomi's accent, questioned her hygiene, and once whispered just loud enough, "People like her should be in the back," not where customers can see them. Naomi's manager, nervous and eager to please high-paying patrons, always told her the same thing. Just keep calm. She's influential, but calm had limits, and so did silence. One Thursday afternoon, the cafe buzzed with chatter as Naomi cleaned a spill near the entrance. Mrs. Langford entered, perfume heavy and expression bitter. Today she didn't come for coffee. She went for a confrontation. In her hand was a small, unlabeled bottle, hidden in her designer bag. She watched Naomi wipe the counter, that same patient grace in her movements. And something inside her twisted, a venomous blend of jealousy and hatred. To her, Naomi's composure was an insult, her calmness a challenge. Mrs. Langford began shouting, accusing Naomi of ruining her handbag the week before, of staining it with her dirty hands. The cafe fell silent. Phones tilted discreetly, recording. Naomi stood frozen, her heart pounding, her throat dry. "I said, look at me," Mrs. Langford screamed. And when Naomi finally lifted her gaze, the woman's hand moved, quick, trembling, reckless. The lid came off the bottle. Liquid shimmered in the air for a split second before chaos erupted. Naomi screamed as searing pain spread across her arm, narrowly missing her face. The bottle clattered to the floor, its contents sizzling against the tiles. Gasps filled the cafe. Someone called for help. Others backed away stunned, and then silence again. The sound of distant tires screeching outside. A black car came to a stop in front of the cafe. Its door opened slowly. The man who stepped out wasn't just any customer. He was the owner, the billionaire whose empire Mrs. Langford had boasted about attending charity dinners with. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes, cold, dark, and burning, locked onto the trembling woman inside. Justice was about to walk through those doors. The cafe froze as the man entered. His presence carried weight, not the kind that came from money, but from authority forged in silence. The billionaire, Alexander Cole, surveyed the scene before him. Shattered glass, steaming tiles, Naomi clutching her burned arm, and Mrs. Langford, pale and shaking, still holding the empty bottle. He said nothing. He didn't have to. The air itself seemed to tighten around him. Employees stepped back, whispers dying on their tongues. Mrs. Langford tried to speak, her voice trembling through a mask of false innocence. It was an accident. She spilled, but Alexander's gaze cut through her excuses. His eyes turned to Naomi, who stood trembling, tears streaming quietly down her face, not from pain, but from disbelief. After all these years of invisibility, someone was finally seeing her. Alexander removed his jacket and gently placed it over Naomi's shoulders. The gesture, simple yet powerful, shattered the room's hierarchy. Then he turned toward Mrs. Langford, his voice low, steady, and final. "You've just assaulted my employee," he said. "And for what? Because she was kind? Because she didn't look like you?" The woman's knees gave out. The phone cameras captured every word. Outside, sirens wailed. Justice wasn't coming quietly. It was coming fast. Alexander stayed beside Naomi as paramedics rushed in, his hand still resting protectively on her shoulder. The world had watched her suffer in silence. Now it would watch her rise. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. The story made headlines before the night was over. Billionaire defends black waitress from racist attack, read one. Acid assault at downtown cafe, justice served, read another. But beneath the sensational headlines lay the truth, the quiet endurance of a woman who had faced cruelty long before the cameras arrived. Naomi recovered slowly, her arm bandaged, her spirit bruised but unbroken. The cafe that once blurred her into the background now carried her name in whispered respect. Alexander ensured her medical care, legal support, and more than that, he offered her something she hadn't felt in years: dignity. Mrs. Langford's empire of influence crumbled swiftly. Her name became a symbol of disgrace, her social circle turning on her overnight. For once, privilege couldn't buy silence. The footage had gone viral, igniting a global conversation about everyday racism, class, and cruelty hiding behind politeness. Naomi never sought revenge, only justice. She returned to her sketchbook, her art now filled with faces once ignored, each stroke a reminder that beauty endures even after the fire. The cafe reopened with new policies, new training, and a new culture, because she learned change begins where people choose to see. She still serves customers, but now with her head high, her smile stronger, not because she's forgiven the world, but because she refuses to be defined by its hate. Racism doesn't end in headlines. It ends in hearts that choose courage over silence. Thanks for watching.